Welcome back to my channel. We're reading the final 2 chapters of this great book, Outsmarting Reality by Nero Knowledge, and then the outro. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let's get started. Chapter 19, The Energetic Ceiling on Your Reality. Principle. Self-worth is your energetic ceiling determining the limits of what you can materialize in your reality. You can have high aspirations, but with a low self-worth, those aspirations will always feel out of reach despite all you do. How can you materialize something of which you do not feel worthy? Many do not realize that unconsciously they do not feel deserving of what they desire, and so it never finds them. If you see yourself as unworthy, how else can the universe see you? You do not rise to the heights of your desires. You fall to your level of self-worth. Unconsciously, an individual with low self-worth will not see themselves as worthy of their desired reality, despite having all the right intentions and striving for their desired reality. They have a ceiling above which they cannot go. It does not matter how much an individual deserves a particular reality, they cannot reach above the level of their self-worth. The more self-worth you have, the higher the ceiling on what you can materialize, and the less you are confined. The less self-worth you have, the lower the ceiling on what you can materialize, and the more you are confined. Individuals with high self-worth are limitless, while individuals with low self-worth are limited. The mistake that most make is allowing their self-worth, which is internal, to be determined by the external. As humans, we typically derive self-worth from others' opinions of us or our successes, which means worthy, and failures, which means unworthy. The universe will never give you more than what you know you deserve. Self-worth ultimately determines what you know you deserve, not what you believe you deserve. The two are often mistaken. You may believe you deserve better, yet it doesn't arrive, not because you don't believe it, but because you don't know it. Self-worth isn't about belief, it's about knowing. Belief lives in the conscious mind, but reality responds to the subconscious, and the subconscious speaks in emotion. Knowing transcends belief because it's emotional and embodied. The universe reflects not what you consciously believe you deserve, but what you've emotionally experienced. The most emotionally intense moments, whether positive or negative, imprint the subconscious and define your baseline of worth. This is what sets your frequency or state of consciousness. An individual can believe they deserve prosperity, but due to their emotionally intense experiences with suffering, their subconscious mind only knows suffering, unfortunately leading to the materialization of suffering. An individual can believe they deserve wealth, but due to their emotionally intense experiences with poverty, their subconscious mind only knows poverty, unfortunately leading to the manifestation or materialization of poverty. An individual can believe they deserve a healthy, loving relationship, but due to their emotionally intense experiences with toxic relationships, their subconscious mind only knows toxic relationships, unfortunately leading to the materialization of toxic relationships. An individual can believe they deserve abundance, but due to their emotionally intense experiences with scarcity, their subconscious mind only knows scarcity, unfortunately, leading to the materialization of scarcity. Until your self-worth matches your desired reality, you will vibrationally self-sabotage its materialization without even knowing it. To the universe, what you deserve is what you have emotionally experienced. An individual who desires love but feels undeserving of love will vibrationally self-sabotage, whether directly or indirectly, consciously or unconsciously. An individual who desires respect but feels undeserving of respect will vibrationally self-sabotage, whether directly or indirectly, consciously or unconsciously. An individual who desires appreciation but feels undeserving of appreciation will vibrationally self-sabotage, whether directly or indirectly, consciously or unconsciously. Your frequency speaks before you do. Knowing is determined by what you have experienced internally, emotionally, and intensely. The epicenter of self-worth is the unknowing law of the universe we touched upon earlier. You can only have what you already have. To deserve better, you must intensely and emotionally know better. To deserve love, you must intensely and emotionally know love. To deserve wealth, you must intensely and emotionally know wealth. Anything you do not know will never grow. Anything you believe is what you ultimately fail to achieve. It seems frustrating that what we deserve is what we have experienced intensely and emotionally, especially when we have gone through adversity, pain, and suffering. However, this presents an opportunity. Since the mind cannot distinguish between reality and imagination, this allows you to alter what you subconsciously know, altering what you think you deserve, which lifts your self-worth, which eventually leads to your energetic ceiling being lifted. All you need to do is internally cultivate an experience that is so emotionally intense that it becomes real to the mind. By doing so, you can overwrite what you know, which overrides what you deserve, which overrides your self-worth, which overrides the ceiling. Until self-worth is detached from the external, it will be attached to an illusion. And so long as it's attached to an illusion, it will not be grounded in truth. Self-worth is attached to the external in two main ways. One, dependency on others. And two, dependency on successes and failures. These two external dependencies are ultimately what shapes self-worth, indirectly shaping the energetic ceiling one has. Most people live their lives having their self-worth determined by other people. The more approval, validation, and recognition that you get from others, which is the external, the more we feel worthy. This can come in the form of accolades, compliments, or approval from others, which have the ability to either increase or decrease your self-worth. If others can increase or decrease your self-worth, then they are controlling your frequency, ultimately controlling your reality. Many fail to realize this. Self-worth is an energetic ceiling. If people possess the power to determine your self-worth, they determine the limits of what you can materialize in reality. How many allow their self-worth to be dependent on others? Quote, care about what other people think, and you will always be their prisoner. Lao Tzu. The idea of, quote, not caring what people think, unquote, is often seen in a negative light, but that's a misunderstanding. Whether positively or negatively affected, a door is opened. True freedom means being unattached to both their criticism and their praise. To detach from your self-worth being dependent on others, you must realize that nobody will ever see the real you. The idea of being emotionally swayed by what others think is pointless if you understand the nature of reality. Understand that people don't see you as you are. They see you as they are. Even when they try hard, they are not seeing you. They are seeing you through their own frequency, their own tinted lens. Alternatively, nobody cannot see you beyond their preconceived notion of you. Ultimately, their minds will filter out and dismiss anything that does not align with that preconceived notion of you. What people think is based on where they are vibrationally, and if they aren't in a vibration that you wish to be compounded into frequency, then materialized as reality, why do you care? Validation and approval aren't the issue. The issue is the external reliance on them. Practical. The moment you become internally reliant, you become independent of reality. This is true freedom, to be free from reality dictating your internal self. Validation and approval must come from within, and only within. You must use your imagination to cultivate an internal experience that intensely stimulates feeling of approval and validation. That can be a sense, that can be a scene, or the sounds of people praising you, appreciating you, honoring and respecting you. Use the technique described. In doing so, you detach from external reliance and you alter what you know, altering what you deserve, and ultimately what you are able to materialize. Seeking validation and approval from others means you lack it from yourself. Through utilizing the mind to create experiences in which you are validated and approved of within, you set in motion for it to materialize without. What you desire from the world is what you must give yourself before the world gives it to you. Moving on to successes and failures, the other way in which we derive our self-worth. To adhere to the concept of success and failure is to unconsciously and vibrationally subject yourself to the illusion of polarity. The mind that sees two instead of one is separated, and to be separated internally is to be separated externally. Success can prompt intense feeling of pleasure, accomplishment, and satisfaction, which seems harmless. But by allowing the external to take you to the heights of happiness, you unknowingly open the door for it to take you down to the lows of sadness. Failure can prompt intense feelings of pain, disappointment, and dissatisfaction. The heights of pleasure and the lows of displeasure, the heights of euphoria and the lows of dysphoria. Without realizing it, you have made your internal dependent on the external. Without realizing it, you have subjected yourself to reality's emotional roller coaster, rising high whenever it desires positive energy, or plunging low when it desires negative energy. You need to transcend seeing life as a series of successes and failures. Detach from those labels, and you will energetically detach from the vibratory effects of those labels. Through labeling reality, we attribute meaning. When we attribute meaning, we attribute emotion. When we attribute emotion, we attribute frequency. When we attribute frequency, we attribute reality. Labels are part of our perception, which ultimately leads to our projection. And to perceive something as lost is to project the meaning, emotion of loss into that or your reality. When loss causes your self-worth to take a hit, that is only due to the meaning that you have attributed to that loss. Over time, if consistently repeated, this leads to our self-worth diminishing. There are no wins and losses. Everything is one. There are no successes and failures. Everything is one. Categorizing some things as wins and others as losses is the source of your separation, which is the source of your limitation. See everything you experience as a win, and only a win. By doing so, you transcend the duality of losses, the meaning of losses, the emotion of losses, the perception of losses, and finally, the projection of losses. You only perceive a win, so inevitably, all conditions, circumstances, and events of reality only project a win. To label loss is to create a detour from your desired reality. When you awaken to the truth that all paths on the journey to your desired reality are created by you, then you stop creating multiple paths and only follow one. Reaching your destination becomes not just possible, but inevitable. When you are the source of your self-worth, the world can never take anything from you. Chapter 20. What to do when reality goes wrong. Practical. Principle. Adversity is guaranteed in reality. There will be times when, despite all your efforts, reality feels heavy, like nothing is going right, like everything is going wrong, and the world is against you. There will be times when it feels like nothing that you are doing is working. There will be times you question your ability to change your reality. Adversity is inescapable, but that does not make it the be-all and end-all. How you deal with the frequent lows of reality is true alchemy. How you respond to reality going wrong determines whether you reinforce your old reality or solidify the new one. In moments of adversity, we often unconsciously slip back into the old frequency, unknowingly reinforcing the very reality we are trying to leave behind. There are 4 ways to deal with adversity. Keeping them in your arsenal will prevent the destruction of the frequency of your desired reality. 1. Give yourself grace. You have been asleep much longer than you've been awake. You've spent more time in the frequency of your old world being asleep than you have been awakened. This means that the strength of the old frequency is more solidified and momentarily stronger than the new frequency into which you are currently trying to shift. It's likely that you've spent more years of your life without this knowledge than with it. And remembering this is the path to giving yourself grace. Mistakenly, as you begin to expand your consciousness and become aware of the mechanics of the universe, it can lead to your old frequency setting a trap. And that is to set you up with the desire to strive for perfection and excellence all the time. It does this because it knows you can't achieve this. So eventually, when you fail, you descend into the very same emotions it feeds on. How do you feel when things are going wrong? Hopeless? Frustrated? Irritated? Confused? Apathetic? These are the very emotions feeding your old frequency. They are its fuel source, keeping it alive and active. The moment you descend into the negative emotions that it desires, you no longer see clearly. Without a proper perspective, you'll feel guilty at every stumble, negatively altering the frequency you emit. Without a proper perspective, you feel annoyed at every stumble, negatively altering the frequency you emit. Without a proper perspective, you feel frustrated at every stumble, negatively altering the frequency you emit. Without a proper perspective, you feel hopeless at every stumble, negatively altering the frequency you emit. The old frequency wants to make you feel like you've let yourself down. You feel like you've let your desired reality down and that all your work is ruined. Your progression towards your desired reality can never be lost. The only loss is in the belief of your desired frequency already existing. People often spiral when they sleep, thinking they've gone back to square one. But the truth is, you only return to square one if you decide you are back there. It's not the sleep that resets you. It's the meaning you give it. It's a scam. Before Ponzi, there were entities. You fail. You feel guilty. And then that guilt consumes you, drowns you, and without even realizing it, time has passed and you are back in your old ways. Until you know what I am about to tell you, you'll continue to fall for this scam. So listen up. I'm sorry to break it to you, but you can't be high frequency all the time. One of the most misleading aspects of the spiritual community is its overemphasis on being, quote, high frequency or, quote, high vibrational. Ironically, it's this very fixation that often keeps people stuck in so-called lower states. Trying to be on a higher frequency all the time will cause you to be on a lower frequency. Frequency is simply a level of awareness. To be in a higher frequency isn't about feeling good or euphoric, although that's a side effect of having a higher level of awareness. To be in a low frequency is to have a low level of awareness. The lens through which you see reality is distorted and blurred by you when you are in a low frequency because of a low awareness. Frequencies are forever oscillating, up, down, up, down. This is the nature of the universe. So why do you think you can fight it? Frequencies aren't still. They are always moving, even if ever so slightly. The truth is, you falling back into your old frequency is completely normal. In fact, it's forever going to happen. As you know, you can't have high without low, and light without dark. So why are you shocked you've fallen? Did you not rise first? This is the nature of the universe. The ancient alchemists referred to this as the law of rhythm. Quote, everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. The Kabbalion. All things rise and fall. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Falling back into your old ways is part of the universe. The issue is you are trying to fight a tide and you can't. Being frustrated and falling back into your old patterns is like being upset with that night turns to day. You are striving for something that doesn't exist and isn't attainable. Once again, you are being set up. Once you recognize that falling back into your old frequency is simply part of the ebbs and flows of the universe, you will be in a position to actually transmute it. You are not going to be disappointed every time you have a slip in your frequency because it's normal. You can't rise without a drop. You can't have higher without the lower. The first step to getting back into your new frequency is freeing yourself from the frustration and guilt. Frustration and guilt blind you. Frustration and guilt bind you to your old frequency. They are a poisonous glue that destroys you. The more you resist, the more they persist. The only reason you've fallen is because you've risen. While you're wallowing in self-pity, guilt, and frustration, those emotions blind you and make you forget that you rose to begin with. You couldn't have fallen back into your old frequency if you hadn't risen out of it, which means you can do it again. This revelation can give you the confidence and empowerment to disrupt the negative emotions that are currently clouding you. The mistake most people make when they fall back into their old frequency is focusing on their failure. This feeds their old frequency, which becomes stronger. They fail to realize they could have just fed the new frequency instead. Feeding the new frequency is so simple. Just focus on your past wins. This will tap you into the frequency you had while you were rising. This energy can never be destroyed as it exists within, so you will always be able to return to it. It all begins with your concentration. Whether you realize this or not, you have been focusing on what you don't want to experience, consciously or unconsciously. As a result, your concentration has altered your vibration, altering what you experience in reality. You need to stop concentrating on your fall and concentrate on your rise. The moment you release the guilt, frustration, and irritation you believe you deserve to feel, you stop feeding the old frequency. That emotional weight does nothing but reinforce what you are trying to move beyond. Recognizing this is the prerequisite to 3 key steps you must take when reality feels like it's falling apart. How did you feel when you rose? How do you feel when you think about how much you elevated yourself? Immerse yourself in these feelings and let them marinate. The inability to see your rise isn't a confession that you have not risen. but an indication that the old frequency has clouded your consciousness. You just need to give yourself permission to feel that pride, confidence, and self-accomplishment again. Feel it. Feel it all. Because that is the fuel that will take you back to your desired reality. 1. Transcend the label of wrong. Things only go wrong because you are there to the illusion of wrong. Reality will only ever be unmovable to the degree that you are unmovable, and you need to rid yourself of adhering to the concept of wrong. Do not forget, since there are no truths in reality other than what the subconscious mind accepts as true, you make the laws of your reality based upon your conviction behind a belief. Don't forget, since there are no truths in reality other than what the subconscious mind accepts as true, you make the laws of your reality based upon your conviction behind a belief. Once you start to internalize the idea that reality is wrong or things aren't working, you set in motion a frequency that molds your reality to reflect that idea, which is strengthened by the emotions behind it, usually frustration, irritation, annoyance, anger, or sadness. When it comes to your desired reality, reality can never go wrong. Eradicate the concept of wrong from your vocabulary to eradicate it from your reality. What we deem to be right or wrong in our reality is nothing more than the illusionary law of polarity in operation. Energetic pairs such as masculine and feminine, negative and positive, or good and bad, only appear to be separate in our third dimensional realm. Outside of our reality, on a quantum level, everything is one. There is no separation outside of our reality, from where you must materialize your desired reality, meaning you must be above the polarity of reality and begin seeing everything as one. This extends to labeling reality. Everything in reality simply is. The inability to see this is due to our desire to moralize the universe, which will result in nothing more than pain and frustration. The universe does not adhere to morality. Gravity acts upon the innocent child in the same manner as it does an evil adult. How would you feel if you knew that nothing can ever truly go wrong in your reality? That despite how things appear temporarily, everything is leading to one place. Traditionally, our concept of things going right or wrong stems from the idea of God, that is right, and the devil, which is wrong. Many assume the devil must exist because they believe God, like everything else in reality, something must have an opposite, meaning the devil must be the opposite of God. But this reasoning overlooks a key truth. God exists beyond this reality and therefore beyond polarity. God is not bound by duality, contrast, or opposites. So if God is above polarity, then God has no true opposition, meaning the concept of the devil as God's equal opposite is a misunderstanding. There is only one power in the universe, and that is God. As is often said, the devil is a lie. The concept of the devil is rooted in the belief that things can go wrong, that you can stray, take the wrong path, or fall into darkness. But when that darkness is illuminated by the light of truth, the illusion of multiple conflicting paths dissolves, revealing that there was only ever one true path all along. This isn't about debating the existence or validity of the devil, but rather bringing awareness to a deeper truth. There is ultimately only one power in the universe, expressing itself through different vibrational states. Never forget that whatever you experience in reality, so long as you maintain the idea that all paths lead to one place, every apparent change in direction will simply be another route to the same location. There are no detours unless you create them through the idea that things can go wrong. Look at the wrongs of your reality as a delayed form of consciousness, making their way out to create space for your desired reality, as opposed to an indication that they still exist and have power over you. 2. Alter how you look at life, and life will alter the way it looks at you. Your perception is being used against you, and until it serves you, it will destroy you. The alchemist takes advantage of the fact that life is meaningless. That does not mean that life is valueless, but the meaning that we attribute to reality is just that, what we attribute. The label of meaning we attribute to reality will ultimately alter your reality to reflect the energy behind that label. If you see everything as going wrong, then everything energetically within that label will imprint itself into your reality, altering it to reflect everything that is aligned with wrong. Until you can redefine the experiences of reality to serve you, reality will control you. To truly alchemize your reality, see everything going wrong as a sign that everything is going right. Remember, the only difference between things going well for you and things going badly for you is the rate of vibration. Your vibration is preceded by your concentration. If you consciously or continuously focus on the aspects of your reality which are going wrong, that concentration will be reflected in your vibration, which will gain momentum until it becomes a frequency, and every frequency must turn into a reality. Alternatively, if you consistently focus on the parts of your reality where everything is going right, with enough momentum, this vibration becomes your dominant frequency. You can have good intentions in your reality, but ultimately, your concentration is more powerful than your intention. 3. Stand calmly among the chaos. The world can only give you what you give yourself first. To truly alter your world, you must be whatever you desire before the world proves it to you, because it will never prove what you are already not. Sometimes life can be chaotic. It can feel as though everything terrible is happening at once, and it is shocking you. The only way out of the chaos is your internal reality. The only way out of the chaos in your external reality is through cultivating peace internally. You need to be able to stand calmly among the chaos. The chaos will remain so long as it exists externally. The chaos will remain so long as it exists internally. But once removed and dissolved, eventually it has no choice but to do the same externally too. In some instances, it can feel as though we are powerless over reality, and the conditions, circumstances, events, and even people around us have more power than us, but you can regain your power with one realization. The power creating the chaos that's getting you down is owned by you. It has simply been externalized. The strength of the chaos is fueled by you. The power of the chaos doesn't belong to the external. It belongs to you. Any control the external has over you is only what you give it. The same strength of that chaos can be redirected to peace. It has no power or strength over you except what it borrows from you. You're projecting your power onto the chaos, thinking it is strong. No, it is you that is strong, and you always have been. You can redirect that same strength towards peace rather than chaos. The waves outside of you can only be brought to stillness by the stillness inside of you. It's worth reiterating here that the notion of things not working or going wrong is a confession of misalignment with the true essence of manifestation. Remember, manifestation is internally shifting to a degree to which you are no longer emotionally dependent on seeing reality change. Things not working is an admission that you have not shifted internally to such a degree that your mind has accepted your reality. Things not working is an admission that you have not shifted internally to such a degree that your mind has accepted your desired reality. End of chapter. Outro. You now know more than enough. You return to these pages, and when you do, you won't be the same. What was once hidden will now be obvious, not because the words have changed, but because you have. This book is you. As you evolve, it evolves with you. With everything within these pages, you now have what you need to outsmart your old frequency, and by doing so, outsmart reality itself. There will be moments when you forget this knowledge, and that's okay. This isn't about being perfect. It's about remembering more often. The more you consciously bring this awareness to the top of your mind, the more you find yourself naturally staying above the noise, effortlessly staying on top of your reality. There will be times when reality seems one step ahead of you. When that happens, don't panic. Just come back. Come back to your knowing. Come back to the frequency of having. Come back to yourself. It's never about what's going to happen. It's about who you're going to be when it does happen. Do not ever let the world gaslight you into believing that causality exists in external circumstances. There is no causality in externality. You are and always will be the one with the source. You are the source of everything. The moment you start attributing your outcomes to money, business strategies, other people, or fleeting opportunities, you fall back into the grand illusion. You begin to worship false gods, mistaking the mirror for the cause, when it has only ever been the reflection of your internal state. Money is not the source of abundance. Business tactics are not the source of success. No person is the source of your love, validation, or fulfillment. And external achievements are never the source of your worth. All of these are effects, shadows cast by the light of your own consciousness. When you believe that anything out there holds power over your reality, you hand over your throne. You become a servant to the very illusions you were born to command. Remember, it is not the market, the economy, the algorithm, the client, the partner, or the timing. It is you. It has only ever been you. The world will constantly try to convince you otherwise. It will point to evidence, logic, and consensus to prove that you are at the mercy of external forces. Remember, there is no causality in externality. Do not fall for it. Refuse to make idols out of effects. Refuse to forget that the true cause, the only cause, is within you. When you reclaim that truth, money flows, relationships align, success unfolds, not because they gave you anything, but because you stopped chasing shadows and stood as the source. The only true thing that exists in this universe is consciousness. That is all you have and all you will ever need. Now go and outsmart reality. End of book. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for listening.